Hello everyone, my name is Mr. B and welcome back to another video. So these past few months, I personally have found it very difficult to do my normal content, my normal anime content. All the shows that I've been watching since the last I uploaded my videos, which was like 3 months ago, were Solo Leveling, Apothecary Diaries, and 100 Girlfriends. These three are the only shows that I watched, and the reason why I didn't make any videos about these three shows was because everyone and their mom have already talked about these shows, so there was just no point of me talking about it. That said, there was a show that I was really excited about, a show that was one of my most anticipated shows of this year. But get this, that show is a Netflix adaptation of a video game. And I know what you're thinking, getting excited about Netflix adaptation of a video game, I'm crazy, right? I'm crazy. Netflix don't do really good adaptations, aside from maybe Castlevania, but even then, that's not really my cup of tea. So why am I excited for a Netflix adaptation? Well, that adaptation is of a game franchise known as Devil May Cry. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I've played Devil May Cry, or DMC as I'm gonna call it, not for Run DMC, but DMC as in Devil May Cry. I haven't played Devil May Cry since Devil May Cry 1 or whatever. The only DMC game that I've played is 5. I know, I'm a basic bitch. Now, while DMC 5 is one of my personal favorite games, one of the best games I've played over the last 10 years or so, it definitely isn't the most lore heavy. It definitely isn't the most story heavy game. There's good story there, don't get me wrong, but it's very simple. The fact that I, who has no idea about DMC lore, was able to come in, play the game, and enjoy both the story and the gameplay shows just how beginner friendly DMC5 is, and a reason why DMC5 is so, I guess, the common entry point. It basically means I have no idea about DMC lore, DMC story, or anything other than what is presented to me in DMC5, which isn't really a lot. The reason why I was really excited for the Netflix adaptation was because, well, it looked good. I mean, Dante looked good, the fights looked good, the songs were really good. I mean, they had Limp Bizkit doing the opening. I wasn't really excited. The show even got 95% Rotten Tomatoes, so I was right to be excited. Then I started seeing these videos about people talking about the show, saying how the show ruined DMC, or how the show got DMC wrong, how it was disappointing, it was a mixed bag. And I'm going to give these people the benefit of the doubt by saying that these opinions are coming from actual fans of the game, people who have played DMC probably since DMC 1 back in the day, and are really big fans of the game, really know the lore of the game. So I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. And to be honest, Netflix themselves don't really have a track record when it comes to good game adaptations. I mean, Castlevania, which is one of their more better works in terms of adaptation, isn't really well liked by a lot of people. Now, I'm not going to say why because I don't follow Castlevania, but generally, Netflix isn't really the best when it comes to adaptations. But as I always say, don't listen to what others say and judge the show, judge the source material for yourself. And so I practiced what I preached. I didn't watch any of these videos, and I just put on the show and watched all 8 episodes to form my own opinion and to see how I feel about the show and not how anyone else feels about the show. So, having seen the show myself, and as someone with a minuscule amount of knowledge when it comes to the DMC lore and story, what do I think about the DMC adaptation? What do I think about the Netflix Devil May Cry show? As always, this is just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I will try to be as objective as I can, but because these are my opinions at the end of the day, there will be some biases here or there, but yeah, I'll try my best to be as objective as I can, as I always do. The DMC Netflix show takes place, I assume, before DMC 1 or maybe during the time of DMC 1. It focuses on a young Dante as he explores more about his past and powers while also dealing with demons invading from hell. That is the general plot of this show, and it's a very simple plot, which I will talk more about this story later on. What impressed me about the show was the animation. I was surprised by how good it was. Sure, we've seen something like this with Castlevania. I think it was made by the same producers as Castlevania, so it was obviously gonna look good. But I still had my reservations, in particular when it comes to CGI. Western animation is going through this phase that anime went through over the past few years, where the CGI is steadily getting better, but it's still in that uncanny territory where if they don't do it well, it just doesn't look good. I was surprised by how it looked in the series. Sure, there was some parts where it looked a bit jarring, a bit weird at times, but they weren't as bad as I had expected, which is great because for me, the 2D side of things were incredible. The action and choreography were amazing. The fights between Dante and CGI demons weren't that bad, and it didn't affect my enjoyment of these fights. Another thing that I was glad they got right was the voice acting. The voice acting and voice direction was really good. The stuff that they're saying felt natural and didn't really, well, rarely felt cringy. It definitely had the Castlevania treatment with really good voice acting, which is one of the very few things that I actually liked about the Castlevania series. I also was very pleasantly surprised that they had Johnny Young Bosch, the voice actor who played Nero, playing a young Dante.
All right, time to kick some ass. Ripped and irresistible dreamboat, I know. You still can't just tear a guy's clothes off.
Now, coming from DMC5, where Nero was the main character, it did take some time to get used to, don't get me wrong, because he sounds exactly like Nero, but it definitely wasn't a bad casting or anything. I think it made sense because he's playing a young Dante, and I think his youthful energy that he brought with Nero definitely fit well with Dante. Also, I just have to point this out, but rest in peace to Kevin Conroy. This is credited to be his last work before he passed away. I think he passed around 2022, 2023, I can't remember, but this was credited to be his last work, which really sucks. Kevin Conroy is a big part of my childhood, and I'm sure a lot of people's childhood as well, and he did really well. He did really, really well in this show. And definitely one of the better voice actors of the show, which is saying a lot because this show had really, really good cast of voice actors. All the voice actors did really well. But Kevin Conroy is just Kevin Conroy, man.
This isn't where my death will come, because God will not allow it until the purpose he intends for me is fulfilled. We are all servants of the Lord's plan.
Rest in peace to Kevin Conroy. He did an incredible job in this series. The music was also really good. I really liked the music choices in this show. You got remixes of popular songs from the games like Buried Alive and Devil Trigger. I really like how much they stuck with the early 2000s songs, from Limp Bizkit doing the best opening to a show I've seen in years, to Evanescence releasing a brand new song for this show with a whole professional AMV attached to it. I do, however, and this is something that a lot of people have pointed out, which is for very good reason, I do, however, wish they kept the original versions of Devil Trigger and in particular Buried Alive. These are not just great songs in Devil May Cry, these are some of the best game OSTs of all time. So it kind of sucked. It kind of took away from things when they did the remixes, especially Buried Alive, where you have stuff like Virgil comes on and you hear the remix, and the remix isn't bad by any means. It's just, it's not iconic, you know. Buried Alive is so iconic that even someone who probably hasn't even played Devil May Cry 5 or any Devil May Cry game would probably say is one of the best video game OSTs of all time. It's that good. So it's a shame that it's doing a remix instead of using the original, which I think would have still worked in the show. But credit where credit is due, for the most part, I do think the music was really good and definitely was one of the more positive sides of the show. Moving on to the characters and story, and this is where a lot of people got riled up on, in particular the characters. In terms of the story, as far as I'm aware, it's not canon. It's not canon to any of the games, books, and whatever. And so judging it is going to be a bit different. Judging it is going to be sort of like, how well does it capture the essence of the games, DMC, how it captures the essence of the games, the characters, etc., etc. And as someone whose only experience is with DMC5, I can't comment on that. That's something that is sort of like, I don't want to comment on that because I don't know what I'll be talking about. And that is definitely something that people who are fans of the game, people who have played the game, people who know about the story and lore are much more qualified to talk about. Me, I'm just going to talk about just what do I think about just the story that is presented to me in general. For me, the story is very simple. Demons come, Dante discovers his powers, there's the side story of Mary and all the dark calm stuff going on. The whole, oh, demons are bad, but there's good demons and humans are just as bad as demons thing, yada yada. The whole political stuff going on. It's the general theme. It's not the best, but it gets the job done. The story doesn't really do anything unique, in my opinion. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. But as someone who just came in, just, want to have fun, it does its job. It's not bad, but it's definitely not 10 out of 10 material. Lastly, I want to talk about the characters, and this is the part where a lot of people got riled up. In particular with Mary, or Lady as she's known in the game. I'm going to call her Mary since that's what her name is in the show. And speaking honestly, again, as someone who has only played DMC5, I don't have strong opinions about what they did with Mary in the show, because my only knowledge of Lady in the game is from DMC5, and she was naked like 90% of the time. Don't get me wrong, she looks cool, she has a really cool name, she looks badass, definitely, but I don't feel strongly towards her. At least I don't know her as a character. And in terms of the series, even though this series isn't canon, I assume this is her backstory, a similar backstory to her in the game, maybe with some changes here and there, but I assume this is her backstory in the game. If it's not, then you can blame the show for that. I'm just taking it at face value. And saying that, taking everything in face value, I don't think Mary was that bad. A lot of people are calling her Mary Sue. A lot of people are calling this Lady May Cry, which, to be honest, is pretty funny. And I kind of get it in the sense that she has insane plot armor, like absolutely insane plot armor, but I don't think she's a Mary Sue. She's not invincible. She doesn't do everything perfectly, I guess. She's just really good at what she does. I think the problem that makes her this Mary Sue character, at least presents her as this Mary Sue character, is how much they nerf Dante, which I'll talk about later a bit. But in terms of Mary, I personally quite enjoyed her character. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I like the badass women characters. Plus, I quite like her design. I prefer this design of her compared to the game. But when they showed parts of her wearing the outfit from the game, I like that better. But I like her overall design, her overall outfit. She gives off like badass, strong character vibes, which I am very biased for when it comes to women. So for me, I don't really found her to be much of a Mary Sue or anything, even though I admit that last sequence in the show was very plot heavy. But again, plot armor is a thing. I wouldn't call her a Mary Sue just yet. At least in my opinion, she's not. And speaking of how much they nerfed Dante, he was nerfed way too hard. He was nerfed way too much, and that, even though I only know Dante for DMC5, that upsets me. It upsets me. Like, you have Dante dodging bullets left and right. He was launching himself through the breeze in the sky and from the plane or whatever. Then you have him get randomly shot by Lady left and right. Not just once, not just twice, but multiple times. It gets frustrating, and again, it doesn't make sense that he's able to dodge these bullets left and right, people showering him with bullets, and then he just gets distracted by a handbag. It's bullshit, I guess. It's bullshit. And yeah, speaking of parts where Mary's a Lady Sue, a lot of that comes from the fact that she was able to beat Dante and was able to shoot Dante, cripple him, whatever, which again is very, very bullshit. Even in the show, he has displayed that he's very, very strong, incredible agility, reflexes, and whatever, but he consistently gets shot by Lady and Lady alone. It's really, really annoying. Not to mention, he is a lot dumber in the series than I anticipated. I get that he's a goofball, I get that he likes to troll around or whatever, and that's funny, don't get me wrong, that is very funny. But I don't know, for me, he presents himself much more stupid than he does like an actual goofball, like playing around, whatever. He's way too stupid, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, which again really upsets me because I don't think that's Dante. I don't think Dante is that stupid. I get this is like pre-Devil Trigger Dante. I mean, he's not even able to activate his Devil Trigger yet, but still, there's a fine line between stupid and goofball, and it's leaning more towards the stupid part. And largely, a lot of complaints comes from these two characters. And don't get me wrong, the characters, not all of them are bad. I really like the main villain, the White Rabbit. I think was really good, and I believe he's an original character as well. He's really good. I also I love my boy Enzo. Enzo is my favorite character in the series. I don't know if he's an original character or not, but he's definitely the best character in the series. I love my boy Enzo. And yeah, there's, some good characters here and there, but considering that this is a Devil May Cry series and Lady and Dante are like the two big characters, it's a shame, and a lot of criticism is down to them just not being good or like having these problems that ultimately overshadow how decent the series actually is. With all that being said, and I think I've said a lot about the show now, personally, while I don't think the show is as bad as people make it out to be, it's definitely not 95% good. In fact, I personally would agree with the audience score more. The audience score was, I think, around like the 60s, which I think is fair for the show. It's not bad or anything. Definitely it's not bad. As someone who has little knowledge about DMC, this show is not bad at all. It's just fun. It's fun, turn your brain off, fun show. And sure, there are some parts where, when you think about it, sort of ruins the moment or the show for you, but it's turn your brain off fun. And I had fun. I had fun watching it. Is it a 10 out of 10 series? Hell no. But is it a 2 out of 10 series? Definitely not. I think 6 out of 10 is definitely like a fair rating to give this show. Plus, with the way they left out the series, I do kind of hope that they make a season 2 just so we can have more action and have some answers to the story. But knowing Netflix, I am very skeptical as well in terms of what they're going to do. But who knows? Guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, anyway, that's all my thoughts about Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry Netflix series. Now, before you shower me with hate in the comments how I shouldn't be reviewing this series because I never played the game, whatever. It's a Netflix show. I'm just enjoying what's presented to me. Plus, I also bought the game. I bought the whole collection and I'm going to be playing the game. And who knows, maybe after I play the game, maybe I have different opinions about the show. But for now, my opinions stand. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I would still recommend watching it, but just turn your brain off and have some fun. But yeah, do let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Do you hate this series? Do you think this series is an embarrassment to the Devil May Cry name? Or do you actually like this series and you want more? Or you're just indifferent and just don't really care and just going to have some fun like I did. But yeah, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments. If you like this video, like this video. And if you want more, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.